Hey there everyone, and today I want to talk to you about not letting your condition make your decision. Hey there everyone, my name's Dave, aka Mindset by Dave, and I've been a mindset and mental health coach for the past 4 years, helping people get unstuck with whatever it is that holds them back up here. If you want to go deeper with these type of conversations, please come over and join us at twitch.tv/mindsetbydave, where we have great guests, great conversation, and a great community. Anyway, on with the content. So for those of you who don't know, I have type 2 bipolar disorder, which basically means I am prone to highs and lows. I do experience life in the middle, but I'm extremely prone to going to very extreme levels of the highs and the lows. The lows being depression and the highs being mania. So that's why bipolar disorder used to often be referred to as manic depression. Now, a big realization for me a few years back was the fact that I'm very much a different person when I'm at the top or at the bottom of that. And even though it's only been the last 12 months where I've sort of realized where my self-esteem is in all of that and what my opinion of myself is, for years now I've known that I would make very different decisions when I'm here and when I'm here than what I would from when I'm here. So a short while after realizing this, I made the rule in our household, don't let my condition make my decisions. So if I was making a decision when I was here or making a decision while I was here, my wife would very much take it with a pinch of salt and encourage me to take it with a pinch of salt as well. This is important because really with any mental health condition, you have your own thoughts, and then you have the thoughts that are generated by the condition itself. Anyone who's experienced depression will know that the thoughts you have and the ideas you have when you're feeling depressed are not the same as the thoughts and ideas that you would have when you're feeling okay. The same is true when it comes to anxiety. In the thoughts that you would have in that situation may not feel like the same type of thoughts that you would have and the ideas that you would have when you're feeling asymptomatic. Most mental health conditions want us to make a snap decision that is based on an emotional response in that moment. And usually it's to get us some form of relief from the emotion that we're feeling in an instant, which isn't always the best thing when it comes to looking at your plans long term. You'll probably have heard me talk about boomerangs on this channel before, a boomerang being something that goes forward only to come whipping back later. We talk about a lot of coping mechanisms as boomerangs because they give us something positive in the short term, only to then take something away from us in the long term. A lot of our decision reactions when we are feeling symptomatic of our mental illness can do the very same thing. They can essentially set us up for an instant relief, but for long-term trouble. I'll put my hand up and say that in times of depression, I've lashed out at people that are just trying to help me. And that's not me. I mean, it is me, but it's not me, if that makes any sense. My condition is making the decision in that moment. Now, this is bad enough when it is something like lashing out at a loved one because it might make them pull back, and it could cause some sort of medium-term damage or even long-term damage depending on the level of the lash out. But one of the decisions I once made whilst depressed was to close down my business. Now, thankfully, there was a lot more to do to close down my business than just say, I'm shutting this down. However, me saying that to the one person that was working for me at the same time caused them to feel like I was going to be an unstable boss and ultimately leave working for me. It set in motion something that I couldn't take back and reverse once it was done, and then ultimately that mistake led to fueling my depression continuously over the next few weeks. And generally speaking, if I let my condition make my decision, it doesn't make good decisions. And the same is true for the top end of bipolar as well, by the way. At the top end of bipolar, I am more likely to take risks. I am more likely to do things that, again, have this short-term benefit, but could potentially cause long-term problems. I have been known to view myself as indestructible when I'm at the top end of bipolar. It's an empowering state of mind when used safely, but at the top end of bipolar, if someone tells me to slow down or take it easy, then I actually might end up lashing out at that person and deliberately then doing something to spite that person. Once again, I'm not letting myself off the hook. These are my actions, but the decision is coming from my condition. And for me, learning over time that when the condition is making suggestions, to maybe sit back and not work on those suggestions straight away has been a significant benefit for me. So my approach with all of this now is, if I am experiencing mania or depression, then I will literally write down the decision that I want to make, but I will not act upon it. Then what I will do is I will give it a day or give it a week. If I still want to make that decision in a day or a week's time, then I'll probably roll with it. But I'm not going to make those snap decisions in that moment before the logical part of my brain and the asymptomatic part of my brain has had a chance to filter through those and be like, is this something that you really want? Or is this something that the bipolar wants? Now, obviously, I've talked about all this from the point of view of bipolar disorder, but there are similar situations in most other mental health conditions. And that's going to be kind of looking at that and saying, where are the analogies in what you're experiencing? And to be fair, even outside of mental health conditions, we've all probably experienced this kind of thing when anger is present, or maybe even during periods of heightened stress. We make the type of decisions that ultimately lead to trying to create some sort of space for the emotion that we're feeling at that exact time. And even for someone who's just been made angry by a life experience or stressed out by several life experiences, we can make poor decisions in those emotional moments. So if you feel that this applies to you, try to take a step back for it. When it comes to mental health conditions, you're probably going to be a little bit like I was, where I said, I can't take a step back from it, it just happens. But when we continually tell ourselves that as well, that becomes the reality that we live. For me, there's a brief moment where I can take a little tiny pause. And if I take that little tiny pause, I can then extend that pause and I can then extend that pause. The big important thing for me to know there is it is obscenely difficult to do that, but it is not impossible to do that. That might not be true for all of you. Certain conditions have certain different speeds and feel a little bit more automatic, and there will be certain things that are always out of our control. But we need to identify the things that are within our control and try and exercise a little bit of that control there. It's really difficult, but trust me, if you can do this and you can separate yourself from your condition, even for that split second, to avoid making those rash decisions, then the repercussions of those decisions are not going to be there helping keep you within those symptoms. Anywho, I shall leave it there, and as always, I hope you've enjoyed this content, and if you have, please hit that subscribe button. Remember, it is priceless to you, but it is priceless to me. And again, come over and talk to us on Twitch, twitch.tv/mindsetbydave, and the Discord community that's linked below. These are all different ways in which you can go a little bit deeper, talk to me, talk to the community, feel like you're part of something, which is a huge, huge benefit. It's something that I appreciate every single day, and I would love to have you as part of that community. See you there.